Hi, everybody. I'm Johnny Patterson, one of the co-founders of Dr. Paw Paw.
And I'm Pauline Patterson, the other co-founder of Dr. Paw Paw, and we're also husband and wife. So what I was doing before we launched Dr. Paw Paw was I started off my career as a hairdresser, and I actually started off, working in a salon in Australia. But then I always knew I wanted, to sort of be the best, and I entered a competition, a hairdressing competition that actually got me the opportunity to come over to London and to work in London. And I knew as soon as I got here that I wanted to stay. So my trip was only meant to be for about a year. But that year is, turned into over 20 years now here in the UK. And again, when I was working in a salon here, I always had the ambition that I wanted to do more and you sort of learn more about the business as well. So I quickly sort of grew into going for a position at Wella Professionals, which was a big corporate, sort of manufacturing company, where I started off as an educator as well. So I was educating hairdressers and teaching hairdressers, how to use the products, how to get the most of it. And I really loved that, giving back. But then as I progressed through my 13 years there as well, I did look a lot at the sort of work with different salons as well, and looking at the business side and, how, sort of they made their money and what services they needed to do. And I was also fortunate enough to be on the team as well that were testing new products and new hair products that were coming out, and also sort of helping sort of bring them to market and launching them. So really from my early days of being a hairdresser in a salon, I learned so much sort of like business knowledge along the way, and also how to sort of teach and give back, and and how to bring sort of a product to launch. So that's really sort of my experience, and I was doing that right up until we launched Dr. Paw Paw.
My background was PR and marketing. My mother and father started up a PR agency in the early 90s. So I was actually trying to make it myself in the music industry, and I wasn't really getting too far. So my dad brought me in 1 day a week, 2 days a week, 3 days a week, 4 days a week. And then eventually I became the MD, and then I ran the business for about 20 years. So I was the MD of a hair and beauty PR agency. So I had lots and lots of background information of beauty brands, beauty products, photo shoots, branding, how the story of a brand really matters, selling, being able to talk to people, all those real basics. And really it taught me everything that I knew, so that we could eventually do something like this. And like Pauline said, through doing the PR and looking after people for so many years, we just really knew that we wanted to do something ourselves because we felt we had the knowledge. Dr. Paw Paw, in its pure essence, is a multitasking beauty brand that's been created for all skin types, all people, so that everybody can feel like they're a part of our journey and enjoy our products. The multitasking element was something that I think that we fell upon, but at the time, from what we could see from people like Mintel, that multitasking was becoming this huge thing in beauty, that people wanted to use less products, create less waste, but get more out of their product. And we just so fell upon that. And, it's escalated into more and more products. But every time we make a product, one of the first things that we will say is, does it multitask? So everything in our range multitasks. It's natural, it's vegan, it does good for the world in terms of what we do in terms of donations and ingredients. So it's a really great positive brand. And again, like I said earlier, it doesn't feel like work. It feels like we're on this mission to create something. Why did we launch the business? I think, again, I covered it in the first question, but we just had so many years of helping others create business wealth for themselves, to create like a awareness around their brands. It just felt that we should do something. So we were just looking for the right opportunity to find the right thing that we felt that would fit. And so, yeah, that was the major reason why we launched the brand.
from our initial, what you'd call like our light bulb moment, because we know we always wanted to sort of do a brand or do something together. And it wasn't till our daughter got eczema when she was only like 9 months old, and we tried everything off shelf, everything the doctor prescribed, and nothing was working. And it got to the point that he was going to recommend, we put steroid creams on, and we're like, right, okay, we don't want to do that. We want to go sort of down more of the natural route. So that's when, we already had a Paw balm, and we thought we'd try that on her, and it worked. So, we launched with sort of one product, with like the one SKU, our original tube. And from there, it's, definitely grown. Like the success of that, when we started it ourselves, Johnny was still working in what we call, his real job. I was still in my real job, so we didn't kind of like give up everything and just throw it to the wind. So we were still sort of working at the time when we started it. And because of the success of that first one product, we just knew then that we had the drive and also the capability of creating this into a whole brand.
Yeah.
So we've done it with our own money, and we just bring out products as we can and when we can, and definitely listening to the trends, listening to what our customers want and ask for, and what their needs are. So we've definitely grown from one product at first launch. Now we've got multiple sizes, we've got multiple tinted balms, we've also gone into the hair and body range, as well as hand creams. And yeah, it's slowly growing, and we're definitely not finished yet either. There's even more sort of new products on the horizon. So yeah, definitely in the 8 years, it's grown from just one SKU to, how many do we have? About 20,
yes.
20 odd SKUs now.
Yeah, which in obviously our Essence lip balm is quite large. But I think the other thing is as well, obviously we created this yellow balm, but I think not only did we want to expand the range, but the demand was actually coming a lot from the retailers and from our community, if you call it that. So we were really excited to obviously just continue to grow the product range for them. So it's been amazing. Skincare is absolutely huge. I mean, every time we see buyers, it's the one thing they're saying, are you doing this? Can you do that? They're just looking for so much more innovation, because there is so much demand in skincare. But if I go back to 7 years ago in 2013, yes, the demand was there. But again, like I said, we'd fell upon something that, perhaps hadn't been thought about at the time. Multitasking has always been around. Let's not pretend that hasn't ever been thought about, but the way that we did it within this single balm probably hadn't been driven enough in terms of media awareness. And I think when you say about cementing ourselves, I think that's where our PR and marketing background comes in as a business, that we have spent so much time and effort and money, to be crass, on letting people know that we're around. We are, small to medium-sized growing company, but the investment that we make in PR is significant based on our turnover. And the reason being is that we have always felt that we wanted people to know that we were first and what we were doing here in the UK. So, since we launched in the UK, there were, I think, 4 or 5 other paw stroke papaya balms that launched that were either similar to us, or just, obviously telling that story that we're telling in a different way. And we just really wanted to make sure that everybody knew that we were first to market here, that we obviously had the story. And so, yes, we made that investment in terms of, the PR marketing, going out and meeting as many buyers as possible, traipsing around the earth, doing shows in the United Kingdom, Italy, US, China, flying to many countries, meeting different distributors and retailers. And, I actually still feel we're not even scratching the surface, because even today, people are calling us like the new kiddie on the block in say, like the lip balm sector. So as an example, like in Superdrug, we've just entered in March. We have 6 SKUs sitting across the shelf, and people are going, oh, have you seen that new brand, Dr. Paw? We're 7 years old. But when you compare it to other brands that are similar to us, they've been here for 20, 30, 50, 100 years. So we are new in a way. So it's nice that you're saying that we've cemented it. It does feel here in the UK there is a general awareness of us, but we've got a long way to go. But we're really excited about that mission.
This question would have had a very different answer back in 2019 before the pandemic hit, that's for sure, because we would have probably been talking about our successes, sort of internationally, how we got into the US, although we did actually launch in the US in April of 2020. So it was right in the middle of the pandemic. We'd obviously been working since 2019 to do it, but we actually launched in store, even though all the stores were closed. In that, but we're still there. So, which has been amazing. Obviously the online presence grew, our team worked so hard, in doing that. So yeah, previous to the pandemic, I would have said awards, getting into all the countries that we've been into internationally and keeping that business going. But now, since the pandemic, it's definitely being able to keep our brand successful through that, because nobody could see that coming. Nobody, could have foreseen that. And it's like, if we were strong enough and adaptable enough as well to go from, all our stores, our biggest retailers, all literally shutting up shop, to then going online, increasing our presence online, and also keeping our team employed throughout the whole of the pandemic, and we still have exactly the same team now as when we started as well.
Wow, it's grown.
It has grown. But everybody's still here. Everybody's still with us. Everybody's kind of like survived in a sense, and that is definitely one of our biggest achievements to date. And also what we did during that pandemic. So yes, it was trying to keep our success, our business, our team employed, but we were also able to give back. And when we launched the Frontline campaign, to date now then, because again, we launched it in the first UK pandemic and then went right through the whole year, we gave away over 150,000 tubes to what we called frontline workers. So yes, it was NHS staff. Yes, but it was your postman, the supermarket people working there, the delivery people, and we didn't just roll it out in the UK because of the success of that. And like our American partners, like, oh, can we donate to this, American hospital? They're looking for hand creams and things like this. And then Belarus took it up as well. Our distributors in Belarus and Romania as well.
Greece, Ireland.
Greece, Ireland. So we started this ripple effect as well. So we started it in the UK, giving it away to frontline workers, but then we created this ripple effect with a lot of our partners around the world, and that led to that. And again, particularly when we've spoken to our team afterwards, they were like, they've just felt like they were able to make a difference as well, and they were doing good, and everybody chipped in to help this, even like some of the girls that don't normally sort of do the orders and things like that, like literally everyone chipped in because we were all working from home, and everybody wanted something to do. So I would have to say that not just surviving the pandemic, but probably successfully, enriching the team and enriching our community through the pandemic has to be our biggest success yet.
We are one of the UK export champions, and with UK Gov. So that's where we've basically shown as a UK British business that we have gone out and exported to the world and not been scared to, even though Brexit has happened, etc. And so what we want to do is, one, is continue to grow internationally and continually grow in the countries that we're in, that Pauline's already mentioned. So just this year, we've launched in Poland in 1,500 stores. We're just about to launch into Hungary. We launched our shop on Tmall, which is the biggest internet site in the world. So basically just expanding. That's one key goal. We also won the Great British Entrepreneur of the Year Awards in November. Now, previous winners are Grenade, Brewdog, Tangle Teaser, which is an amazing crowd to be amongst. And what we are looking to do is to look how we can use that, leverage that to take our business on to the next stage, whether that's government funding, private equity funding, because the business as it is and the way it's growing, obviously we obviously are doing it ourselves, but it's nice to get some expertise in because we're going into sort of like really big stages now. So yeah, I mean, they're just some of the, you know, instant goals. We are launching new products. We tend to launch anywhere between 4 to 6 new products a year, but we have got something new which is totally dedicated. It's going to be its own range, and that will be some point next year. So can't tell you too much right now.
Not yet, not yet.
but we are working on it. We've been working on it for a while now, so we're excited about that. It's quite big in that it will probably need its own little mini team for it. So, but we're excited about that. And then, sorry, just to keep going on, but the overarching mission is just to continue with what we've mentioned all the way through this, is to continue having fun with our team. You know, like I said, it doesn't feel like work, and you know, through selling our products, I feel like we're doing something good. Try and be as sustainable as we can be with our cardboard and the plastics that we do use, you know, and try and give back where we can. But, you know, whether that's giving advice to, you know, startups, working with UK Gov to talk to people who need to export, whether it's working with Teenage Cancer Trust to help people. It just feels like we're in a, you know, we've by no means made it, but we're in a privileged position of knowledge that feels like it should be shared.